of the Always Believe House. Oh, and today we're going to talk about parallel lines. Did you know parallel lines are like railroad tracks? They never cross. So let's look at parallel lines. It is going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. And a magical whiteboard appears in the office of the Always Believe House. Oh, and today we're going to talk about parallel lines. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the slope-intercept form of line F and line G. So let me zoom into line F. And we need to get the y-intercept first. So the y-intercept's going to be here. Then we got to go to the right and find another grid point. And the next grid point it goes through is right here in it. So let's find that slope. We go up and we go to the right, don't we? We went up 3 and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slope will be 3 over 5. And the y-intercept would be 3, right? Okay, so our equation would be y equals 3 over 5x plus 3. Now then, let's go line G. Line G crosses right here. That's going to be our b, which is equal to -1. Then we're going to find our slope. So the next point it goes through is right here, and we would go up and to the right, wouldn't we? We would go up 3 and right 5 again, wouldn't we? So our equation would be, our m would be 3 over 5. So we're going to have 3 over 5x minus 1, aren't we? Okay, so basically, this line was translated down 4 units, right? Remember that from junior high? And the slopes did not change, did they? So basically, we took line F and we slid it down 4 spots. We translated it. And notice that the lines never cross, okay? Compare the lines. They have the same slope. And different y-intercepts. If lines have the same slope and different y-intercepts, they are parallel. Notice that the two L's in parallel, let me make sure this is right, the two L's in parallel are parallel, aren't they? So parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, so parallel lines on a coordinate plane. Parallel lines on a coordinate plane are lines that are equal distance from each other at all points and have the same slope. Parallel lines will never intersect. Okay, so they are always the same distance from each other at any point. They have the same slope, but the y-intercepts are different. Oh, okay, so let's go to this one. Find the slope of a line parallel to the given equation. So all we need to do is find the slopes. So on this one, remember, you're going to have y equals mx plus b. This is going to be our slope. So solve these equations for y and get your slope. Okay, so this one right here, the 5 over 2 would be our slope. So all we want to do is get the slopes on this. This one right here is, it's in the, has it on the right side, but it's not in the right order. Let's write this equation like this. So we have mx plus b. This number right here is our slope. So our slope is -2. Or it's going to be -2 over 1. Down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Going to number 3. Remember, we need to solve this for y, so we're going to divide by 3. And we'll get y equals 4 over 3x minus 6. This right here is my slope. Okay, so all we have to do is find the slope. A parallel line to that line will have the same slope, but the y-intercept will be different. That's what we're going to do today. So you're going to be given the equation of a line, and you're going to have to find a line that's parallel to that goes through a point, and it's going to have the same slope. So let's look at number 4, okay? So a line is parallel to the line y equal 4x minus 2. That means our slope is -4 in it. Okay, so we're going to use the slope of -4, and it goes to this point, and I'm going to use point slope, okay? So write down y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1, If you do it this way, you can do it the same way every time. So we're going to write down y. The opposite of minus 8 is plus 8 equals, our slope is negative 4, parentheses, x, and the x-intercept, or the x number is 0, so minus 0. Now then we're going to distribute the negative 4, so y plus 8 equals negative 4x, distribute the negative 4, plus 0. I don't need the plus 0, do I? Now then all we have to do is move over that 8. And we will end up with y equals negative 4x minus 8. And the slope is going to be negative 4 in it. Ho, 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 ho. Now then, if you knew about this right here, 0 comma negative 8, is the y-intercept. So our b term is negative 8. We could have just plugged that straight into the equation, couldn't we? Because they are giving us the y-intercept of the equation. So our slope is negative 4, the y-intercept is negative 8. I really didn't have to do all this math if I knew that, okay? Oh, let's go to number 5. Okay, so we need the equation that's parallel to this one and goes to the y-axis at 6. That's going to be our b in it. Okay, so we just need the slope, and this will be our b. So let's solve this for y. 3y equals 2x minus 12. Divide everything by 3. So I'm going to get y equals 2 over 3x minus 4. This is my slope. This is my y-intercept. So my equation will be y equal 2 over 3x, and my y-intercept is 6. Ho, 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 ho. Piece of cake. On that one, we did not have to do point slope because we knew that the y-intercept was given to us, okay? Let's go to number 6. A line parallel to this and passes through this, so this is our x and our y, and our m is going to be 1/4. I'm going to use point slope and switch it, okay? So y minus 1 equals 1 over 4, parentheses, x minus 8. Remember, when you have a fraction, we're going to get rid of it. So to get rid of this fraction, we're going to distribute our fraction. The 4's cross out. We'll get 4y minus 4 equals, distribute this 1. So we'll get 1x, or x minus 8. All we got to do now is move over the 4. So we'll get 4y equals x minus 4, and then divide everything by 4. So we'll end up with y equals 1 over 4x minus 1. Ho, 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 ho. Now then, on your STAR test, they may want this formula, they may want this formula, or they may want standard. You've got to be able to write down point slope, standard, and y-intercept. You've got to be able to generate all 3 forms of those equations. So we're going to keep plugging in the point slope and switching it. It will get easy. Remember, when you do point slope, the denominator goes to the left and the numerator goes to the right. The denominator goes to the left, the numerator goes to the right. Let's go to number 7. Okay, number 7, here is our slope, and here is our point in it. Okay, so this will be easy. So the slope's a decimal, so we won't have to get rid of a fraction or anything. Okay, so we're going to have y, the opposite of minus 5 is plus 5, equals negative 2.4, parentheses x, the opposite of positive 10 is negative 10. That could be the answer on the STAR test because you have the equation of the line. It is in point slope. Now then, there is no fraction here, is there? So we're just going to distribute the negative 2.4, and we'll get y plus 5 equals negative 2.4x plus 24, and then just move this 5 over. And we're going to subtract 5 when we do that, don't we? So we'll end up with y equals negative 2.4x. Notice the slope did not change, and 24 minus 5 is 19. Ho, 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 ho. Basically, you changed the y-intercept from 11 to 19. You translated that line up 8 units. So find the slope, plug in a point slope, and switch it to mx plus b. Okay? Let's go to the next one here. Now then, these are kind of tricky because we're talking about the x and y axis, okay? A line, and remember, this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. A line that is parallel to the x-axis will stay flat, won't it? That means it's going to be horizontal. These are really tricky. Okay, and have a slope, a flat line has a slope of 0. A line that's parallel to the y-axis will be vertical and will have an undefined slope. Okay, so if it's parallel to the x-axis, it goes through the y-axis and it doesn't cross x. If it's parallel to the y-axis, it will go through the x-axis and have a slope and have an undefined slope. Okay, so let's go down to here. These are kind of tricky. Determine the slope of a line that is parallel to the x-axis. If it's parallel to the x-axis, it's going to be flat. And this will be our x and this will be our y. So really quickly, draw an xy axis, plot 6, -8, which would be down here. And a line that is parallel to the x-axis will be this, and it will go through the y at -8. So the equation would be y = -8, and the slope will be 0. Notice also that this right here is going to be the equation. If it were vertical, it would be x = 6. Horizontal, y = -8. That ordered pair is now one of those numbers will be in your final answer if it's parallel to the x-axis or the y-axis. Let's go to number 9. Natasha says that the line x = 7 is parallel to the x-axis. So let's draw this. So we're going to draw our xy axis, and we have x = 7. The line x = 7 is going to look like this. That is not parallel to the x-axis, is it? It goes through the x-axis. Okay, and the slope is not 0, it's undefined. So the line x = 7 is parallel to the y-axis and has an undefined slope. Okay, these are really, really tricky. You got to visualize what this looks like. If it's x equal, it doesn't mean it's flat. It means it's vertical. It goes through x. They're opposite of what that axis is. The x-axis is flat, but an x equal line is vertical. The y-axis is vertical, but a y equal line is flat. That's got to click in your brain. Let's go to number 10. Write the equation of a line that is parallel to this one and goes through 2, 3. So let's get our slope. So I'm going to get this point it goes through, and the next grid point's this one. Goes down and over, so it goes down 3 over 1. So this has a slope of -3, doesn't it? Okay, so this is my x and this is my y. I'm going to plug it into point slope and switch it. So y, the opposite of +3 is -3, equals -3 parentheses x minus 2. So we're just going to switch this. This could be the answer on your STAR test. This is an equation of a line. Now then, let's switch this up. So we're going to distribute the -3. So we're going to have y minus 3 equals -3 plus 6. And then we're going to move over the 3. So we'll end up with y = -3x plus 9. So our answer is y = -3x plus 9. Piece of cake. We're doing this with more power. Let's go to number 11. Okay. Determine if P and M are parallel. All we got to do is find the two slopes. So let's get line P and let's get line M. Spell it right. Now then we're going to draw fraction bar minus minus, fraction bar minus minus. So on line P, we're going to have xy, xy. So we're going to put -y minus 2 over 6 minus -3. So we'll end up with -3 over 9, which is going to be -1/3. Okay, and now then if the line M has a -1/3, they're parallel, aren't they? So let's do the next one. So this is our x and y, this is our x and y. So I'm going to do -1 minus 0 over -9 minus 6. And this is going to end up being -1 over, this is going to turn into a plus 3, and it's going to be -1 over 3 in it. Since they are equal, the lines are parallel. Oh, what a blast. So remember, if lines are parallel, they have the same slope. Let me stop recording here. If lines are parallel, they have the same slope, but the y-intercept changes. If you know the point and a slope, you plug it into point slope, then you switch it to whatever form they want. The form could be point slope, it could be y-intercept, and it could be standard. They could give you any of those equations. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. We're going to go over your homework next. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.